buckle up and start your engines because we're taking a ride back to 1932 today on Go Island. On today's show, a Sir Winston Churchill impersonator visits the island, and word has it he's related to one of our reporters. An Nanaimo woodworker crafts magical creatures, and hundreds of Deuce coupes have rolled into Victoria. All that and more on Go Island.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
I'm gonna say my own way.
Hello and welcome to Go Island. I'm Jen Muranetz and I'm sitting in one of the most nostalgic vehicles I've ever seen. What are we sitting in right now, Al?
This is a 32 Ford Roadster.
And a Roadster is a type of vehicle made by Ford, and can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, in 1932, Henry Ford made 14 models of the 32 Ford, and this one happens to be a Roadster. It has a convertible top and has no windows in the side.
Now this is just one of two vehicles you have that are both considered Deuces. What is it about this model, the Deuces, that you really enjoy?
Well, these became really popular back in the 30s and 40s when people found out that Henry had put a V8 engine in them and they ran real fast, and they put a grill in front of the radiator and they looked really good. So they took them to the Bonneville Salt Flats and all the dry lakes in California and started racing them. They take the fenders off, the windshield off, headlights and everything, and get them going real fast, and then put them back together again and drive them home. And ever since then, this car has been so popular because he only made it for 9 months and then switched to a completely different model in 1933.
And they still look really good, and that's why you have actually made a living out of kind of refurbishing and redoing these kind of vehicles. What do you do for a living?
Well, I started building these professionally in 1996. It's always been a hobby, and kind of a hobby turned into a job, so it's a dream job for me.
And many of these vehicles are at this event we're at here, which is the Northwest Deuces Day. Can you tell us all about this event?
Well, it's a collector car show for years up to 1951. Most of the cars here are 32s. We have 470 32 Fords here, and total registrations up to 978.
Wow.
So, yeah, we've almost hit the 1,000 car mark, and it's a record.
Almost 1,000 cars, and about half of them are Deuces. And to get all of these vehicles over here, you had some special arrangements. Can you tell us about those?
Yeah, well, they came from everywhere, but there's one specific group came from the Bay Area in San Francisco, and they had 148 of them traveling together. So they had to split the Coho Ferry up into two sailings. There was half on one and half on the other, and they all arrived into town, and it was pretty spectacular.
That would have been such a great ferry ride, just seeing all of these collectors on the boat there. We're going to continue touring around and taking a look at some of these cars. But first, the Sir Winston Churchill Society of Vancouver Island got a real treat recently with a Churchill impersonator himself, and rumor has it that impersonator is related to our very own James Green. We'll let James tell that story.
Every nut and bolt on it's hand machined if they couldn't get a 12-point to fit.
When you see the bodywork and what goes into making these cars, there's thousands of hours that you just don't see as an average person.
It's definitely got my vote for the top Deuce of the show.
Thanks for that story, James. Now, Sir Winston Churchill didn't have a Deuce coupe, but he did have a very rare vehicle from 1939 that recently sold on a German auction for over $600,000. Oh my gosh, that just shows you what some of these collector vehicles are worth. Now, I'm standing in front of one of the must-see vehicles that Al told me to come take a look at, and there's a whole crowd around it right now, so you can see that it's very popular. It's a 32 Ford Roadster, and the front grille is really impressive looking. It is just stunning. And the gentleman who's been working on this has actually been working on it for over a decade. Him and his family are really hoping for an award this year, so we wish them the very best. On to our next story now. A Nanaimo retiree has recently taken up woodworking, and he's creating tiny, legendary creatures that have started to take up residence on the outskirts of the city. I'll let Annette Lucas explain. Thanks for the story, Annette. I'm joined with some very enthusiastic people here who are just loving looking at all of these Deuce coupes. What is it about these cars that really grab your attention?
I think everybody puts their own mark on the cars. They're all unique. There's not any two alike. And so you can look at a 32 coupe, but you can see 850 iterations of it. And that's awesome.
It's pretty
I love
awesome. And for yourself, you're feeling like you're kind of taking a bit of a walk in time, right?
Yeah, I've probably owned at least 7 or 8 of these kinds of cars in the past. But at this point, I think it's kind of been elevated to the level of an art. I mean, to look at what they've done with these cars, I mean, it takes it beyond cars. Really, I think it's like artwork.
Yeah. We're going to continue looking at some of this artwork all throughout the rest of the show. But first, we're going to take a quick break, but stay with us because afterwards, we're going on a road trip. There are tons of cars to take a look at here at Deuce Days, but not many of them you can actually touch. Your car here is just fantastic. Can you tell me all about it,
It's
Dennis?
very popular because it's all original. There's 2,000 pounds of rotting wood on it. It's a 1947 Chrysler, Town and Country, and if you owned this car, you were very wealthy. The movie stars owned it. It was a status symbol.
Now, there's a lot of people are putting a lot of finishing touches on their vehicles, and yours are filled with bumper stickers. Are these authentic bumper
No,
stickers?
those aren't bumper stickers. Those are actual decals of places that I've been. I've driven to Mexico City and back, 15,000 miles, from Tacoma to Toronto and back. And some of these decals are from sponsors that sponsored that particular rally. And then this spring, we went all through the Duffy Lake Road back into Hope in Vancouver. And last summer, we drove 7,000 miles all through the Great Lakes and then back. And there was 100 cars in these rallies, and most of them are trailer queens. We drive from Vancouver to this, whatever the rally starts at.
Is there something specific that you love about collector cars?
Well, it gives me a chance to be an egotist.
Well, there's some beautiful cars here, and we're gonna take a look at a few more later in the show. But first, we're gonna go for a quick break. But stay with us because when we come back, Dan Kahn talks about lawns. What do you think about people mowing their lawns really loudly early in the morning in the summer? Personally, I like my sleep, I like my peace and quiet. Thanks so much for that, Dan. Now, I was walking around Deuce Days here and I was thinking, which vehicle do I like the best? Which one would I want to ride away in? And I stopped here at Dennis's vehicle. What car do you have here, Dennis?
I've got a 31 Ford Model A Roadster.
And for our viewers, can you tell us a little bit about this vehicle, some history of this one?
Well, the car was hot rodded in Victoria in 1957, and the owner kept it till 77. Then it sold a few times, and we bought it 13 years ago and restored it pretty much to the way it was in the 50s.
Why was it important to you guys to keep the look and the feel of this car exactly how it was in the 50s?
Probably because I'm old. I remember the 50s, yeah.
So
I'll
it was
tell you my age later.
a bit of a nostalgic thing then.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
And what has it been like bringing your vehicle to Deuce Days and sitting right in the middle of all this energy and this excitement?
I think the most exciting part is all the people that remember the car from the 50s and the 60s. Like, that's what makes it. Like, it's neat, yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to try and convince Dennis to hand over the keys here so I can drive away here. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning into Go Island. Tell us which vehicle caught your attention. You can tweet us, you can Facebook us, or you can send us an email. Thanks for watching.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Men's Wardrobe by DG Bremner & Co. Menswear and accessories. Hair services provided by Salon J.